Welcome to Digital Clarity's FAQs. A question that keeps coming up for us recently is, why is my quality score so poor? So we thought we'd delve into this and talk about it a little bit, hopefully give you some tips to try and improve your quality scores. So first of all, let's establish what factors influence your quality score. So keywords. Keywords are really important. They also need to be relevant to your ad, and they equally need to be relevant to your landing page. And then your landing page needs to be relevant to your keywords. So this cycle is what you want to be thinking about when you're optimizing for your quality scores, to make sure everything is relevant. And that's what the basis of Google is built upon. So the quality scores that you'll see will range out of 10. So the score you'll be given will be given out of 10. You'll tend to see that your brand keywords will be, you would hope to get them above 8. So anywhere from 8, 9, 10 out of 10 would be really positive. You will sometimes see that slightly lower, particularly if your brand term is kind of a normal daily term that's used. But it should be pretty good. Generic keywords, so they're going to tend to be the middle tier, but you want to try and be pushing for your 6, 7s and 8s. And then finally, your competitor terms are the kind of ones that you might find fall into the lower figures. Now, this isn't always the case. Sometimes you'll see your generic terms, or occasionally even your brand terms, drop below that 5. But what we say is try and get your quality scores above that 5 out of 10 score. Now, there are 3 main factors that Google uses to calculate the quality score. The first one is the expected click-through rate, which sounds a little bit odd because it's what your click-through rate should be. So kind of Google predicting the future for you there. They take into account the likelihood that your ads are actually going to get a click in the first place. So they use a number of different factors that they don't necessarily disclose to calculate that particular part of the figure. Secondly, your keyword performance, and that will be your keyword performance within your account, but also how it compares across a range of different accounts that are using the same keyword. And that's really important because sometimes we're just focused on how our account is performing and how our keywords perform within there. Now, this final point is really important because Google claim that they are not influenced by things like position. So you'll tend to see that if you've got a higher position of maybe 1 or 2, your click-through rate in general will be higher than if you're in positions 3 or 4. Now, they're saying that they won't actually take that into account. It won't influence anything when they're looking at your expected click-through rate. So bear that in mind as well. The next factor is your ad relevance. So this kind of says what it is on the tin. It's how your keyword is directly associated to your ad. So you want to make sure that your keyword is included within the ad, maybe within the display URL. And also you want to make sure that if you're using something like responsive ads, that you've got multiple different headlines. Any combination of those headlines sometimes means that your keyword won't appear. So that could be something to look out for if your quality scores aren't quite what you would expect them to be. And thirdly, your landing page relevance. So this is really key, and this is often an area that we see people maybe let the side down a little bit. So what Google are looking for is, firstly, relevance. It's always about relevance with Google. So make sure that you've got content that people are expecting when they land on that page. Also, they want to trust if they're putting any data into a form, they want to trust what's happening with that data. And there's all the things around about privacy policies and GDPR lately. People are nervous to fill in forms now because they're not sure whether they're going to get a load of spam emails or phone calls or whatever. So it's important that you use certain privacy policies, or you make people feel comfortable with what's going to happen with their data if they are to share it. Make sure it's really easy to navigate. So if you're expecting them to go from one page to another, make sure that flow is really easy. And finally, the speed of the site. It's a given. We've all sat there waiting for websites to load up before and given up and left. And Google doesn't want any of their results to end up in that circumstance than anyone else does. So site speed is really important. Now watch out for the Google curveballs. So we mentioned earlier on that Google claim that they don't take into account the visibility and your average position and how that may impact your click-through rates. But what we've seen, we've run a few tests and we've tried moving a keyword from one campaign, changed nothing at all, and put it in its own campaign so that it's got more exposure, it's got more budget, so it gets more impression share. And we've seen those quality scores move from 3 out of 10 up to 7 out of 10 without changing anything other than the visibility. So bear in mind what Google deems as being a good expected click-through rate, or the visibility having an impact or not, isn't always the case. So if you're kind of struggling to get your quality scores up, bear in mind what you think Google might be sort of trying to read between the lines there. And that will be some good takeaways. So let's just break down what we've gone through today. So always include your keywords in your ads and your landing page, but make sure that they're not spammy. You don't want to be cramming them in as much as possible and being overly repetitive, but you do want to mention them. You want to make sure that you have actually referenced the point of the keyword within that ad and the landing page. Make sure that you've got good call to actions as well. So if you're trying to convert, as we were talking about in one of the previous videos about what a good conversion rate is for PPC, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're telling your audience what you want them to do or what you're expecting them to do when they actually get there. And that can tend to help improve the performance of your landing pages as well, and that all feeds into how relevant your performance of your account is, and hence it can have a direct impact on quality scores. And then be fast, make sure the load times of your site are really fast, make sure it's really relevant to the user, and make sure it's really easy to navigate. So thanks for your time today. It's been really good to see you again, and we will see you soon. Cheers, bye.